Hey y'all, my name is Bryant Young.
And Derek Chaney.
Here with the Decent Dads podcast. Brand new episode this week.
That's right. We had another good friend of ours that both of us have wanted on the show for
Our
quite a
most
while.
experienced
That's
dad.
right.
We're not calling him old. He's just
That's right.
experienced.
Eldest. No, I mean, and that was probably the funnest part about the episode is, again, he's so much more experienced than us or a lot of the other dads that we've had on.
Mm-hmm.
And he's been able to share like some great stories from, well older than our kids that he's been able to experience with his kids and give us plenty of dad advice as well. So,
and he's got checked off another first for us. He's our first adoptive dad as well. So I think you guys will enjoy the stories, be excited about it. We got serious. We had fun.
Tears were shed.
Yeah, it's a great episode.
But
So I think you guys will very much enjoy this one. So without further ado,
let's do it.
Decent Dads podcast. Here we go. Good evening, folks, and welcome back to the Decent Dads podcast. We're here to tell dad jokes, drink coffee, and build a community of dads navigating fatherhood together. I'm Bryant Young, fearless leader, co-host, girl dad, and your friendly local insurance agent based out of Springfield, Missouri. And now, before we get started on today's episode, please help me welcome. He's a 6'3" sophomore shooting guard from small town Missouri. He wishes he was a first-team All-American, and he isn't. But instead, he's the coolest co-host with the most. He's the fantastic father of two and the home loan expert. Folks, put your hands together and welcome the incomparable Mr. Derek Chaney. How are you, Derek?
Tell me how you really feel.
But he's not.
Oh, man, doing good. It's a good day for a good day.
It's a good day.
Got some hoppy coffee in hand. A little extra
It's pretty stout today.
Yeah.
Stoutish.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah,
this is our most coffee-like coffee we've ever had.
Coffee like coffee. I like that. But no, we got another great guest today. Another
one. He's been on the list for a long time. I'm excited he's here.
That's right. We got Anthony Roberts with us today. Anthony, I've known you for probably the past 4 or 5 years, I'd say.
About the same for me. I mean, just doing Rotary stuff around Springfield for, the better part of a decade now, as weird as that is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. But super excited to have him on today.
Yeah. Crosses off several
couple
firsts
things
for us.
The eldest dad.
I was going to say most experienced, but that's fine. You can call him old. The old guy.
He has the oldest kids out of out of any of our guests so far.
Mm-hmm.
You could probably add up all the kids' age, and they don't make my son's ages.
That might be
Actually,
true.
He's probably not too far from wrong, realistically.
Absolutely true.
But yeah, and also you have an adopted child as well. So that we haven't had one of those yet. So that's awesome. I'm excited to hear more about
that.
that.
It's a cool story.
Yeah,
cool story.
Can't wait to hear about it. But Anthony, we know you a little bit. Some people might not. So tell us who you are, what you do. Give us your dad resume. Tell us how many kids you got, what are their ages, which one's your favorite, and go from there.
Up until we adopted our second child, my first child was
it was an easy choice.
Now it's a toss-up.
it is a toss-up, flip of a coin. Yeah. So, executive director of the Community Blood Center of the Ozarks, been doing that executive director for almost 9 years, been at the Blood Center for a little over 11. Before that, I spent 26 years in prison.
Yeah.
In prison.
Doing what, Anthony? Elaborate, please.
I got paroled in December of 2011.
Yeah.
You're so full of shit.
I was the hospital administrator there for the last 11, 12 of the 26.
In a federal penitentiary. Yeah, it was not just a light-duty deal.
We could spend
that'll be
days,
episode 2 with Anthony.
Days
just talking about that.
Bet there's some stories.
John Gotti stories.
I've
got some of those.
Ooh, there you go.
Fat
So
Tony
cool.
Joe Bonanno. Yeah.
I think I knew some
all
of those,
the great mafia guys over
which
the years.
is just
Great,
bananas.
Yeah. And before that, I was in the lab manager. So great career. Wouldn't trade it for anything. A lot of lifelong friends.
Cool.
Put a great roof over my head and my family's heads for a long time. So I'm incredibly appreciative of that opportunity, and then love what I do at the Blood Center. Not have been a day that I haven't woken up and look forward to going to work.
Cool.
Well,
Great
that's
people. 2 boys. My wife, Jana, we've been married. It'll be 20 years in June.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize it was 20
so
years.
that's awesome. My older son, Evan, is from a previous marriage. Evan's 28. going to be 29 this year. He's a pharmacist, inpatient pharmacist at Cox Branson. Super proud of him. And then I guess it'll be 17 years ago around Thanksgiving, Jana and I adopted Alex. Alex is a electrician apprentice, getting ready to study for his journeyman pretty soon, getting married in a couple of weeks. So
You got all kinds of cool stuff happening. Yeah.
Super proud of both boys. They are good human beings.
Way to go, Dad.
Yeah.
That's great.
Good human
Nice.
beings.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
So, we do a couple of things every single week.
Okay.
And we got to start out with tantrum of the day.
Okay.
And especially with you, we make a joke that it's like, whether your kids are 6 months old, 6 years old, 16 years old, or 36 years old, they're probably still throwing tantrums. And you're going to be our first evidence of that kids in their 20s can still throw tantrums. It's
Maybe
just
you
a
have
different
a
kind
wedding
of tantrum.
coming up.
Okay, so here's the deal. My tantrum is actually me throwing a tantrum.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So-
we like these.
Yeah,
That's good. Yeah.
This is incredibly embarrassing, but we
Please talk about it.
we love to travel. Travel is
Sure.
the only reason why I work. We love to see the United States. I'm one state short of all
are you
the
really? I didn't know
states. Evan is like 3 states short. Jana
Dang.
beat me to 50.
Oh.
Alex has been to like 37 states, and he's been in the United States for 17 years. So traveling is a huge thing for us. So we're in San Diego about probably like 2008, 2009. It was one of those terrible dad days. We were at the San Diego Zoo.
Which is massive.
Evan would have been probably 13, 14. Alex is 5 years younger. They were picking at each other all day long.
Sure.
Just constant. And we're walking
his
out.
limits.
Do what?
I said Dad hit his limits.
Oh, I was done. And I hadn't had anything to drink at all. So this is sober come apart. So we're walking out, and they had done something for the 50th time, and Jana was done too. I mentioned it to him before I came over, Alex and Jana, and Alex couldn't remember it, but Jana was like, I was right there with you. I was done. I lit into him, and we were like 4 days into the vacation. I'm like, we're going back. We're packing our shit, and we're going home. I'm done. I'm tired of you guys yelling at each other, picking at each other,
Sure.
kicking, poking,
Everything.
bitching, moaning at each other. And I mean, it was one of those, I was that close to truly going to the
Throwing my hands up.
going to
I'm
the
out.
timeshare, getting our stuff, going back. It was one of those, I didn't care how much I had to pay to get us home.
right.
Didn't matter. We're leaving.
Oh. Over
So
it.
by the time we get to the car, I calm down a little bit, and the boys are like, "Oh, we're so sorry. It won't happen again. It won't happen again." 2 days later, of course,
Just
it
right
happens
back
again.
to it.
5 minutes
So
later.
just wait until your two are teen years. Yeah, it was. I'm not proud of it. It was.
But you know what? We get it.
Every
Totally
dad's
get it.
going to
You've only
go
got
through
the
it.
one.
Right?
Yeah, and there have been a couple of instances where Elsie, who can't communicate, doesn't speak English yet.
Right.
It's very difficult to try to have a conversation with somebody who doesn't speak
Well,
your
it was
language.
interesting when Alex came over and he didn't speak English.
Which I want to definitely,
Oh.
I want to talk so much about
So
that. Yeah.
so it was really cool. So we, Jana and I guess, had been married. Let's see, we got married in 2003. We had kids really wasn't really one of the things that we had talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess we talked about it, but I was a little bit older, and I had Evan, and I guess Evan was about 6 or 7 at the time, and so we kind of had the discussion about Janet didn't have kids. She'd been previously married, didn't have any kids, and kind of didn't really think that she wanted kids. And then, of course, that changed after she had been around Evan
Yep.
and experienced being a bonus parent or
Yeah,
stepmom
parental
or
figure,
whatever.
sure.
Yeah, and so it's like, all right, well, if we're gonna do this, there's a couple rules. We're not getting a baby.
Yeah.
Because I'm not. I'm
going back to-
diapers.
I'm not going back to
It's
it.
like I'm not doing that because at that point Evan was probably 12.
Yeah,
It's
that's,
like I
oh
didn't
boy.
want to have 2 families,
Mm-hmm.
and I was. so in the summer, I guess it was, Jana's mom passed away in around November of 2004, after we'd only been married for a year. So that was really kind of a really hard time for both of us.
Sure.
My parents had passed away long ago. My mom's been gone for about 23 years now.
Wow.
My dad passed away when I was 4. So I'm sure it'll come up later. But anyway, so Jana started checking into it, and there was a group that was bringing kids, orphanages from Russia on cultural exchanges to the United States. It wasn't a cultural exchange. It was an opportunity to find families. So we hosted Alex in 2005, and I'm a huge baseball guy.
Yeah.
Been to 48 baseball stadiums. I've got one to go. And Evan was playing baseball at the time. We were had a really good team. And so I was actually having to work the night that the kids came in, and it was at a church down in Nixa. I don't remember what it was, but Evan and Jana went to meet him, and all we had is this crappy picture.
Yeah.
So they come in, and I hope I won't get teary-eyed. I'm a big softie.
It's all right.
But so Jana and Evan are sitting there, and Alex walks in, and he's got a baseball cap on.
Sweet.
And Evan is like, I think that's Alex. I think that's him. And sure enough, it was him. So he comes over, spends 3 weeks with us, can't speak a lick
Oh, wow.
of English.
Dang.
I mean, he's a 7-year-old kid from Russia.
Yeah.
No concept of the English language. They had interpreters here, and the adults that came could speak. But it was so cool because Evan and Alex bonded so immediately.
Really?
I mean, it was just one of those things that was meant to be.
Yeah.
So,
that's so cool.
I mean, we would be at our house down in Nixon. We'd have people over, and Alex would do something, and Evan would say, "Oh, he wants blah."
Yeah,
whatever it was.
He could just pick it up.
and we'd get it, and Alex would be like, he'd give the thumbs up, like, yeah.
He knew that.
Oh, so
Knew what that meant.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, it was just it. I mean, it was a family just waiting to happen.
Yeah. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and I want to dig into more of that later because
absolutely.
that's just fascinating to me.
Yeah.
So that's thank you for sharing.
And the other
that's
cool
great.
thing is, my family now is a 4th generation adoptive family.
Really?
Wow.
So my Nana, who came over on the boat from
Cool.
Italy, was adopted. My dad was adopted, and then I have 2 siblings that were adopted. My older sister
That's crazy.
and my brother
Wow.
that passed away quite a few years ago.
Oh, my
But yeah,
gosh.
4 generations of it, and
neat.
it's just kind of
that's so
it's kind
neat.
of the family business.
Yeah, that's
family
so
business. There
neat,
you
man.
go.
That's
if-
great.
If either one of the boys can't have kids, I certainly hope that
We'll
they will
encourage-
adopt.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know they will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they will.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We've had several like multi-generational things on our family, right?
Yeah.
Or on this show before,
Yeah.
like businesses or
Right. Well,
or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But we've never had that.
Yeah.
The
Right.
adoptive thing aside.
Yeah, it's so cool.
That's so
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah.
God, that's just so. I'm kind of at a loss for words there. That's really cool.
You gonna start crying?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, Brian. It's okay.
You and I share that actually.
Yeah.
So, tantrum of the week.
I think
What do you do today?
yeah.
What kind of tantrum
I
are
think
you
once
dealing
you
with?
become a parent, it just happens. You become
God, it's. I mean, I tear up at like action movies now. It is unfreaking
Yeah.
believable.
The little teddy bear from was it No, not Armageddon. What's the one with Nicolas Cage? The
Oh, Con Air.
Con Air.
Yeah, dude.
The little doll. Yeah. Little
I can't.
stuffed animal.
I can't watch John Wick 1 anymore
never
because they
seen
kill
that,
the
I don't
dog.
think.
They kill the dog,
yeah.
and I'm like, I'm out. I can't
Yeah.
be here anymore. Sorry.
watch 'em.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
a hold on. I'm off on a tangent.
Stream of
That's
consciousness.
Exactly.
Tantrum.
Me too.
Yes. So this one, I don't even know how much of a tantrum this is, but it's more funny than anything. So we put Brody down the other night. He goes down like 7:30, and every time we put him down, he always like cries for like 5 minutes and then goes to sleep. Right. And so we put him down the other night, and he's crying a little bit longer than normal, and we're like, oh, that's kind of weird. Maybe whatever's happening. But then he falls asleep. Well, then me and Allie lay down for bed, and he wakes up again, and he's just in there just yelling, crying. So Allie goes in there, calms him down, puts him back down. A few hours later, same thing. Wakes up, he's yelling. And Allie goes back in there, calms him down. Then in the morning, normally he's a pretty quiet kid in the morning until we go in and get him. But for whatever reason, this morning, he's awake, and he's not crying, but again, he's just yelling in his room at something. So we go in there to get him up, and we see him. He's just pointing, like out of his crib, pointing, just yelling at this thing. And we look, and there's an applesauce packet on the floor.
He was hungry.
Brody Bear.
Bring me my applesauce,
Brody Bear
Dad.
loves food, and especially applesauce. And so I think he saw that all night and was just
fixated.
pissed off because he could not get his applesauce.
Oh,
So
well,
he's just sitting there yelling at it all night. And I'm just like, oh,
He would go to sleep and think about
right?
it.
Dream about
dreams
it.
of
and
applesauce packets
oh,
dancing
man.
in his head.
It was like, yeah, you can't help but laugh at that. Yeah, sure enough, we picked it up, threw it away. Nap time was fine.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Out of
was pretty
sight, out
good.
of mind.
Well, and so ours actually revolves around food as well, and it kind of leads into my dad hack. But we went to Costco yesterday. I talked recently on the show about like involving our kids in our day-to-day stuff. Well, Saturday morning, it's grocery shopping, or it's Costco, or it's both. Right, and so we went and
You don't do both at the same place?
That's
well,
what I was
pretty
thinking.
much. I
I
mean,
was like, what?
we pretty much do, but like I don't want to buy 4,000 eggs. I just want a dozen. So sometimes I have to go buy
Yeah.
eggs at like the regular grocery store. But we always stop because Elsie loves hot dogs. I mean, she's a toddler. Of course, there's a handful of things that they're going to be obsessed with. Hot dogs is hers. So we stop and we get a hot dog, and at Costco it's like a freaking coney dog. It's like 12
Right.
inches long. So, and of course she doesn't want the bun, so she just pulls the whole hot dog out there and has just got like a foot
Dad,
long
look at
hot
me.
dog. Look what I got here. And I'm just like, all right, let's
There's
not.
so many
Yeah, I
jokes
know,
there.
right? It's like,
I'm-
I'm just really glad that none of our friends are here until Peyton and Jamie Wilcox walk by, one of our previous guests. And so we're talking to them, and I haven't seen Peyton and Jamie for a while, and so I'm kind of locked in on talking to them. And Elsie's sitting in Liv's lap, and I was kind of glancing back and forth, but mostly just having a conversation with Peyton because he's one of my good friends, and I just hadn't seen him in a while. And I didn't notice that Elsie was freaking out. Just because she was on Mom's lap, and I kind of in my head I had it triggered that Mom has her, so I had kind of turned off the dad sense a little bit and was talking to Peyton, and Elsie was just squirming and wanting to run around and freaking out, and finally I look over and the hot dog is like flung halfway across the the Costco like eatery over there, and so and it turns out, because again I didn't have my dad sense turned up to 11 like it should have been, Liv was really struggling trying to get Elsie under wraps,
Right.
and I wasn't paying attention. And so I caught what was a deserved earful after
So
the
live
fact.
through a bit of a tangent.
Yeah, exactly. It was deserved, which actually leads me to my dad hack.
Dad hack alert!
Because Liv and I had to talk about it after the fact, and she said, well, you were being you, social butterfly, wanting to talk to your friends, not paying attention. And I said, okay, one, you're absolutely right. Touche.
I own that.
Yeah, that's me.
You're not
However,
wrong.
so let's remember that I can't not be me. So let's try to together come up with a way that if I'm doing something that is just me being me, but I need to stop being me, I need to know about it. We have a safe word now.
I was going to say,
code
safe
word.
word.
Yep.
We literally have a safe word now.
It's got to be a good one.
No, trust me, I'm not telling either of you yahoos because you're going to tell me.
Mistletoe.
But that's my dad hack, is that if you can have a safe word elsewhere, but we actually have it for our relationship when it comes to like, okay, Bryant, you're being Bryant, and I need you to pay attention, or whatever. She's gonna say the word at me, and it's like, and we set it up in such a way where it's skim, as in like skim milk or something like that, because we would never really use that word in
That's a good point.
in
Yeah.
like a
How'd you come up with
conversation.
skim?
I was trying to think of something to do, like an excuse for us to get out of there. I need to go skim the pool.
Okay.
Or
nice.
we need, hey, don't forget we need to get some skim milk before we leave.
Okay. So it's
she can
innocuous.
exactly.
Right.
So it's
To
not her
everyone
saying.
else.
So it's not her saying mistletoe, mistletoe,
Or unicorn.
exactly, or something like that.
Catacorn.
It's something that she can mix it into conversation, and she's comfortable,
Right.
Not like smacking me across the head and yelling, farfig nougat at me or something.
Right.
So that's our dad hack this week, and it's more of a relationship hack. Have a safe word,
Yeah.
so
Have a
that
safe word.
because we need that password to get Bryant to not be Bryant.
Yeah.
Speaking of dad hacks,
Maybe
what
she
do you
does
got,
need to
big boy?
smack you upside the
Well,
head.
that might also help.
In and of itself.
Yeah,
That's right.
truly, that might actually help as well. What about you?
Yeah, no, mine's one that's a little bit common sense, or at least I thought it was until it kind of happened to us just yesterday. And I think we mentioned it before on here, but it's going through your mental checklist before you leave the house with the little ones. Which we're normally good at it, like when we're planning to go somewhere, right? Like planning to go to Costco, that's fine. We got the
Diapers
water,
and snacks, we're good.
the snacks, the diapers, the toys, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
right. Well, but be sure and go through that mental checklist when you're in a hurry too. We had to take Brody Bear to the urgent care yesterday. He had pink eye, and so we just had to go there to get some medicine for him.
It's
not
third
contagious.
generation. You're fine.
It's not contagious.
It's it's been 24
I'm gonna
hours.
get it.
He's
You're
fine.
fine.
He's fine. But yeah, so Allie, she's like all rushing around in a hurry to get him in the car and get him there, and like she didn't bring anything with her, which the water and the snacks, he's not feeling good, so didn't really care about that. But diaper was the important part. Little dude had a blowout at urgent care.
Oh shit! Literally.
Literally, yeah. Luckily, yeah, they did have diapers.
I was
going to
say, I bet.
And so they gave her one, and
They
she was
covered
able
the
to
dad hack, right?
Yeah, able to work it out. But yeah, be sure and go over that checklist, no matter how big of a hurry you're in, because whatever it is that you forget, they're gonna want it.
Preach.
No
Absolutely.
doubt.
Do you have anything? You've got as I alluded to earlier. You're like, you are our most experienced dad. What kind of did you have any piece of advice that you got or you like to give, or do you have any particular dad advice?
It's weird. I didn't grow up with a lot of guys. My dad passed away when I was young. I was the youngest, so both of my brothers were out of the house. So I mean, this sounds weird, but I spent most of my time hanging out with women, my mom's friends, and I think the dad hack that maybe I got from them was. It sounds weird, but it's just be kind to people. I think when you grow up mainly around women, it's the testosterone isn't there.
Yeah,
I think that's probably why I'm so quick to tears. I mean, when Tiger Woods won the Masters a few years back, I'm sitting there crying. Dan's like, "What's wrong?" It's like my mom and I used to watch. She loved Tiger Woods. She would have loved to have been here
to see
him. So I think it's just, and I hope I've kind of taught that to the boys that look, it's so easy to be kind to people.
Yeah.
Know people's names. Be able to, I think I tell people all the time. I told Sean Gallagher the other day after Rotary. Him and Ron Weiss and I were sitting there talking as we normally do after Rotary, and something came up about one of the boys, and I said, my boys could step into this conversation and be perfectly at ease. They wouldn't be on their phones. They'd be able to engage in whatever conversation we're having. They can make eye contact with you.
Yeah.
When they're talking, they're not looking at their feet. To me, that's a huge dad hack that is probably the thing that I'm most proud of. My boys are independent. They can, they treat people well. They engage. They have a wide range of friends. They don't sit at home and stay on their phone and play video games all day. So I don't know if that's really a hack, but
absolutely,
it's great advice.
Yeah, 100%. Was there anything that you guys did specifically to be intentional about like how to have a conversation, how to have making eye contact with people or anything like that? Anything intentional that you did?
I don't know that it was intentional. I think it was just the expectation that look, when you're in a group, you're in a group.
Good for
and
you.
You're part of the group.
Yeah,
you're
good
not,
for you.
I like that.
You're not the 12-year-old kid that's standing in the corner or the 17-year-old kid that's engaged in something else. When we're with family, big Italian family.
Sure.
So, when we would get together, the expectation is that you're part of the family, and it's not the older people and the younger people. We've always kind of done it that way.
Well, that makes sense. And you kind of mentioned it earlier. There was a pretty big range in age within your family, and so dealing with the older siblings and the younger, you being the youngest sibling.
I had cousins that were close to my age, but my mom was she, like I said, my dad passed away when I was 4. She had 5 kids. I was 4. My brother, I had a younger sister who's passed away. She had cerebral palsy. She was like, how old? She would have been like 7 years older. Brother who was 8 years, a sister who was 9 years older.
Dang.
So, I mean, you're looking at 11, 12, 13, and then a brother who was in high school, and he was everything was about my brother Rod. I could say that about him because he's no longer here. But
He can't come beat you up anymore.
Yeah, when my brother and sister who are still living see this, they'll know what I'm talking about. But my mom had no tolerance for bullshit or nonsense.
Yeah.
We all, she worked full time at Mercy or St. John's and then labor and delivery department. So
Wow.
she was there when where were you guys born?
I was a Cox kid,
Cox?
I think.
Were you Cox or Mercy?
I was CMH.
Okay.
Bolivar.
Yeah.
So my mom, there's a lot of people in town that my mom was there for when they
Actually,
were born. I
No,
know.
no,
Shoot,
it's a
now
neighbor,
that I think about it, probably right around that time. For
Yeah,
sure.
it would have been around that time. So she just didn't tolerate nonsense.
Cool.
And I've tried to teach the boys the same things, like, look, stand up for yourself.
Right.
Don't let people walk over you. Just like you said, it's all common sense. But unfortunately, in today's world, there's
Less
not
of
a
that.
whole lot of
Yeah.
common sense.
Well, I think the whole getting off your phone and like you said, just participating,
engage.
in the conversation in the group. That is so big because I know people our age, they're bad about it too. Let alone
Yeah.
people that are younger and
yeah.
kids are probably even 10 times worse than we are. So I love that you're doing that, and yeah, hopefully we can figure out a way to do that
You'll
with
get
our
there.
kids too.
We've talked about it here on the show quite a bit. It's like our immediate reaction when Elsie is freaking out in public is to hand her the phone. Because that's and I'm
just
like
shakes his head.
and I'm like and Liv and I go back and forth about this
Let her
because
scream. She'll
I
get
don't
over it.
and that's so I try not to and Liv is getting there too. Her anxiety gets dialed up to 11 when Elsie's freaking out, and
you
so
know
trying
what?
to help
in the
her
grand
keep
scheme
that
of things, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks.
and that's
It's a great way to look at it.
Yeah, those people are
we've
gonna
talked
be
about that
assholes
ad
regardless.
nauseum. Sure,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's like take them on an airplane, tough.
Yeah. The parents there, they understand. They've been there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just you make that look of solidarity across the aisle
Like
to
you've
see
been
the other
there.
dads. Like, yeah, I've been there, pal. It's all good.
Hang in there. Yeah,
It gets better, supposedly.
yeah, it's all good.
Anthony, I want to talk more about your adoption story and your sons. But I mean, really both sons. I don't just
Yeah.
want to exclude to only Alex, but I want to talk more about your experience, particularly the thing that stands out to me. And so I'll just kind of start here. Did you guys start practicing Russian ahead of time? Do you have any of it? Did you have any of it? How did that work for you?
I did not. Jana did.
Okay.
So she learned some phrases.
Okay.
Like "I love you."
Mm-hmm.
She actually has a tattoo on her back in Russian that says
Oh, cool.
"I love you." It's so
Nice.
cool.
Awesome.
So cool. So yeah, it was just kind of one of those.
Bring this a little closer to you. There you go.
Kind of
You're
one of
there.
those things that we really we got keyed into the group that came over from Russia. So Alex is from Russia. One of the things that really concerned me was, adopting a kid from the United States, and then the birth parents deciding, hey,
We want to be.
I
way
want my
involved.
kid back and I
Right.
want to be
Yeah.
engaged. So it was
tough.
it was quite a process. Evan was engaged during it. I mean, that 3 weeks when Alex came and we were the host family, it was so cool to see them exchange, interact with each other. We've got a picture. One of our first pictures of Alex is from Incredible Pizza.
Nice.
The car in there in front.
Yep.
I don't know if you've taken the boys
Yep.
yet to Incredible Pizza. I don't even know if the car's there. I haven't had to go there.
It
in
is.
15 years, so
Had to go is about right.
haven't had to go. So Jenna and I ended up taking 2 trips to Russia. One in the summer. So Alex was here in the late summer of 2005.
Okay.
And then he went back to Russia.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, so he went back. During this time, we're sending care packages. We had decided as a family that we were going to try to adopt him.
Okay.
So the process was incredibly long, dealing with Russia. Putin had just come into power. Bush and Dick Cheney were I was going to say we're president, but that's one was president, one was vice president. So, but sorry,
2000s politics, baby.
So we did not then get the word to go back. So in the summer of 2006, we knew when we did the adoption we were going to have to take 2 trips to Russia. So we went the first trip, and we really looked at it as a business trip.
Sure.
I mean, this is business. It's family business. We're going to go over there, get done what we needed to do. Unfortunately, Evan couldn't go with us. Just logistics. It was just not going to work out. So we were there, I think, for about 10 days. So we were in Moscow. The city that we adopted him from was a little place called Nizhny Novgorod, which was the old Gorky Park. So big industrial part there. So he was in the orphanage. So we went to the orphanage. We got to take him out. He got to hang out with us in our hotel room that summer, which was really cool.
Fun.
And then we had to leave again. So one of the coolest
That's
stories.
going to be heartbreaking.
Yeah. So
holy crap.
So this will make me cry, and I'm going to try to get through it. So we get to Moscow, we get to Nizhny Novgorod, and he's staying at a summer camp for kids. Kind of out in, not necessarily the wilderness, but, out, it's an outdoor camp. So we drive, I don't even remember how far it is, probably about an hour or so with our interpreter and the driver. And we get there and we go and we get out of the car, and all these kids from this orphanage come up to us and ask us, "Are you here for me?" So we're just like,
dang,
crap.
Yeah.
So we get there, we get to his cabin, and I don't remember, Jana, I think it was the jellyfish. I don't remember for sure. Jana will be mad at me for not remembering. So we get there, he's not there. And so we're sitting in his cabin, sitting on his bed. He's out playing. They go out, get him. He comes in.
You're good.
And so we're sitting there. First words out of his mouth was, "Mama, you came for me." So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
So we get to keep him for a couple of weeks, or about a week, and then we have to come home because we don't get to bring him home.
Jeez.
So we leave again, but he knows now that we're going to adopt
those are
him.
my people.
Right.
Yeah. These are my people, and ask about Evan because he could say our names, Mama, Papa, Evan, and it was really Russian accent. Evan.
Sure.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, Jan was sending candy and baseball cards, and of course, when they went to the orphanage, they were taking his stuff. So then, in the fall of 2006, is when Dick Chaney said some really bad things about Putin, and we got to Russia in middle of November of 2006. Right after we brought Alex home,
This is when those come.
Putin stopped adoptions in Russia. So,
Dang. Wow.
so like
just in time.
less than 40 days. So
wow, really? That
Yeah, so
close.
we go get him, come back. We got to go to Red Square,
Do
got
all
a
that
picture
stuff.
at St. Basil's Cathedral. And
Cool.
Yeah, it was just an amazing. And then we get home and, because my ex-wife and I, Evan was an only son. She remarried and had a stepson, but was a lot older. So Evan was really kind of a big deal for both sides of the
absolutely.
family. So it was so cool because I'll get it out.
You're good.
It's all right.
You're good.
They both have a brother now,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and they're tight. It's so
That's
cool.
cool. Well, and yours is the definition of a blended family, Anthony.
Yeah.
Like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah.
And, oh, man, thank you for sharing,
Yeah, I'm sorry
frankly.
for-
No.
Yeah.
Don't apologize. That's,
Yeah, I feel bad because I've mentioned earlier that me and Bryant know you pretty well, but I
Yeah.
never knew
Yeah,
all of
it's-
that
yeah,
story.
it's-
So that's
Yeah.
awesome.
again, seriously, thank you for sharing. I know that's tough,
Yeah.
but that's the kind of thing that is just
Yeah,
so
we're
cool
lucky.
to hear.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
The timing couldn't have been better, too. Good grief.
it's made all of our lives better.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. That's so great to hear. That's
And
so-
right now, had we not gotten him out,
Lord knows. I mean, Lord knows
Yeah.
anything that might not have ever happened.
Don't even
Think
want to
about it.
conjecture of what, because he's 23. He'll be 24 in July.
Cool.
So he
Cool.
yeah.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, let's talk about a little bit lighter subjects.
let's talk about
you know,
some-
it's
let's
all
talk
good.
about some fun
Yeah.
stuff here. So me and Allie, we're actually getting ready to do a big road trip with the boys, and that's one thing that we've really wanted to implement with the boys is taking them on trips, doing fun stuff,
Traveling. Yeah.
traveling. And you were mentioning earlier, all the traveling that you do or that you've done, I guess. And so, did you take the boys with you on?
Oh,
any
absolutely.
trips?
We do since even before Alex got here, Evan and I went on a huge baseball trip.
Oh, cool.
One summer we went to where all did we go? We went up to Chicago, saw a game at Wrigley and Comiskey, went over to Detroit, Toronto.
Oh, wow.
This is all in one
Cleveland.
trip.
One trip.
International baseball trip.
Wow.
Cleveland,
Yeah, that's
Pittsburgh.
Dang, that's a big trip.
Can't know how. Went to the.
Did you drive this? Or
Oh
fly?
yeah. It was.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's a phrase, and I think it's attributed to Saint Augustine, but the quote is, "The world is a book, and those who do not travel read only one page."
Mm-hmm.
And
Nice. Yeah, well said.
and well, I didn't say it.
No, I know.
I just
You
stole
repeated it. Well repeated. Well repeated. Yeah, nice
But
shot.
to me, it's like there's so many wonderful things to do and see, and if you have the wherewithal to do that, and I mean, a lot of it was driving, a lot of it was
Yeah.
getting in the car and driving. One of the first trips we took with Alex was down to Orlando to Disney,
That's a haul,
Yep.
baby. I've done
And-
that. I've done that trip with
and
my
it was
family.
awesome. We took we've been with the boys. We've been to New York, to L.A., San Diego. Got to see a Lakers game on New Year's Eve one
Nice.
year. That was part of the San Diego trip, where I blew a gasket, among many. Went to Vegas, stayed off the Strip just because it was probably the right thing.
Yeah, teenagers in the Vegas
No,
trip.
not even. Yeah, I think Evan might have been a teenager.
Oh, yeah.
Alex was less than 10.
You don't want them seeing that.
As a little bit too adult. Yeah. Here, you want this card?
Yeah, right?
No,
Yeah.
please
Please don't.
No, please don't.
Naked lady on it. Yeah.
Yeah, and recently we've
Because you guys continue to do that kind of stuff to this day, even though the
as
kids
the
are in
boys
their 20s.
get older. Yeah, I mean we're big Marriott Vacation Club people.
Okay.
And Marriott points. So I tell the boys life's about making memories.
Absolutely.
And I tell them every trip we go, long after we're gone, Jana and I are gone, you guys are going to sit and tell your kids about all the cool places
Right.
and all the cool things we did. And, there's a lot of places we want to go to yet.
Sure.
And hopefully
Definitely.
we'll get there. But,
What's the next place on your list? What's
well, the
That's what I was
wedding.
gonna ask you.
Yeah.
Alex's wedding. And then I think that's our family vacation this summer.
Cool.
With our points, I think the boys and their significant others and some friends are going to go to Vegas later on this
So
year.
now they're going to experience Vegas.
Nice.
Now they're going to get Vegas.
Vegas the right
Vegas
way.
the right way.
I love it.
And then we've got some other stuff. We want to go to Costa Rica. Haven't been to Hawaii. I feel stupid for sitting here talking about all these cool places
No, but
we
it's-
get to go, but
No.
But it's
it's what we do.
Yeah,
I
It's
mean,
your thing. Yep.
I don't spend obviously I don't spend a lot of money on clothes. I got my cheap shirt on, my crappy tennis shoes.
nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's I didn't get to travel a lot when I was a kid because it just wasn't
Right.
in the cards. But
Sure.
just to be able to share time, and we have a great time. We had last summer we went to St. Thomas, and we ate at this restaurant on top of the hill, and it was spectacular. And it was just it's one of those memories that on my deathbed
Yeah.
I'm going to remember
That one.
that view
Yep.
with my family. Yeah.
That's
Right.
so cool.
Yeah. No, I'm similar to you. Like, I think we might have went on 2 family
Oh,
vacations
yeah.
while I was in the house. you
Yeah.
know? But those are like some of my best memories.
yeah.
And so like, yeah, me and Allie are just like you and Jana that, we want to take the boys on,
Experience the
at
world.
least
There's-
one trip a year, hopefully we
And
can
that's
do
what we do,
more,
yeah, I
you
mean-
know? And even now when they're young, because they might not remember.
Don't take them to Disney now, though.
Well, no, we're not.
Don't
Well,
don't be that parent.
Well,
Dude, that's
they might not remember it now, but we'll remember it and remember
that's
their
true.
reactions to
That's
it.
true.
You know?
And, I mean, there's so many. I mean,
cool.
go up to Omaha to the Henry Dorley Zoo.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a day.
thought about that.
And there's a bunch of other. There's a bunch of other stuff to do up there. I mean, that's a long weekend trip. It is an amazing zoo.
Oh yeah,
Really?
We went
absolutely.
to Chicago as kids. A lot of the trips that I went on as a kid were tied to insurance company stuff. Because
Imagine that.
Family business.
Go figure. Family business.
Tax write-off,
Exactly
baby.
right. And so it was some of these. Dad would win like a trip, or you sell
Right.
enough stuff to get qualified for a trip, and so a couple of the vacations that I got to go on as a kid were tied to these trips, and I can still tell you exactly what I did.
Yeah.
When I did it, where we went, that we had pizza at Gino's East, and I didn't
you and your
really.
brothers,
Yeah,
you and your brother are still talking about it.
exactly.
Yep.
And
To
and
this
like
day.
the fact that Gino's East was aggressively okay. It was not great.
Aggressively
It was
okay.
it was
I'm not
okay.
a big Chicago pizza guy, so that means
I've been one time and I was a big fan of it.
Pizzeria Uno. That's my favorite.
What's that?
Pizzeria Uno.
Okay. Yes.
Or
Yeah.
Uno. Yeah, I think that's what it's
I haven't
called.
been back to
Pizzeria
Chicago. Excuse me, since I was in like
Chicago?
middle school. But going to the aquarium there, Shed.
Oh, the Shed's fantastic.
So again, it's just those kinds of things. It's we've talked about this with Liv and I trying to talk to our families. We don't need more toys.
No.
Help us. If we're going to pay for something, if you're going to give us something, help us pay for experiences.
So I got a
Yep.
great story on that.
Bring
So Jana's dad passed away, I guess, in December of 2012. Before I met him, before I met Jana, he had a bout with cancer, made through it. And he comes from the generation of, I want to make sure that I give you money when I'm gone. And
Right.
Jana and I were both, look, unless something goes categorically wrong,
yeah. Some
we're going to be
catastrophe.
fine.
Right.
So let's go on a trip. Take us on a trip. So in summer of 2011, a year before he passed away in December, we went on an Alaskan cruise.
Cool.
The boys still talk
Super
about
cool.
it.
Awesome.
So the boys Evan would have been like 16, I think, and Alex would have been 11. We had such a great time playing bingo, having this formal set down dinner.
Oh yeah.
Which
Don't they do the bow tie and all? all the
which
full-
you don't do at home.
Yeah. No.
Now with my father-in-law, we did formal dinners. It was placemats, forks and spoons. Yeah, I mean he
Yep.
taught the boys how to eat a proper dinner.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
though.
that was being raised in my house. My mother is a aggressive organizer and planner
Jana's
of all
mom
things.
was too. So it was
Yeah.
it all came. But our boys can sit and they know which side the bread's on, which side the drinks are on.
There you go.
Yeah.
I still don't know, so I should have went on that trip with you.
Yeah.
It's easy.
Nothing-
Bread, do this.
Yeah, exactly. Bread and drink.
bread and
B
drink.
and
Bread
D.
and- yeah.
That's exactly right.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no, it's truly.
Yeah.
You can watch
Now
my
teach your
dad.
boys that.
You can watch
That's a
my
great
father.
dad hack.
There you go.
That's my best dad hack.
You
From
can
my father-in-law. Bread, drink.
Man,
you can watch,
I'm
you
still
can watch
that.
my dad sit down at a table and he'll go, "All right, I got it."
Yeah,
Wait,
I have to.
the right and left hand thing.
Yeah, you got to do the.
Which one of
you
these
gotta do
frickin' drinks is mine? That one? All right, I'm going.
We were at a Rotary deal
Yeah.
the other day. It's like, oh, that's mine.
Yeah, this one's
Get your
got it.
hands off
Get
of
off my way.
Yeah.
That's
Dang.
that
I'm
was
stealing that, yeah.
absolutely. I see my mother.
That's
Nothing
easy.
brings my mom more joy than setting a table.
Oh,
And there's decorations and there's
it's
the runner.
so
and
old
the-
school. My mom was that way. Thanksgiving dinners.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
dialed up to 11.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
So cool. And Jana does it. I mean, when we have a big Thanksgiving dinner or
Is that
Easter,
her bag?
She's her mother's daughter.
Yeah, got it.
She
Yeah.
is her mother's daughter.
So that's fun. Well,
Yeah.
so speaking of like going to all these trips, and you were talking about going to a bunch of different ballparks. Talk to me about, and this has kind of been a reoccurring theme on the show, and so we always want to get everybody's impression because it seems to be such a huge part of daddom. I want to talk about, and I wore it for you. I wore
Right.
it. This is one. It's my
The
favorite
Mad
hat.
Cardinal.
It's my
It's the
favorite. It's my
aggressive
favorite hat.
cardinal.
The aggressive cardinal. But
Yep.
I mean, everything about you bleeds red and blue. So I want to talk to you about introducing your kids to sports,
Okay.
and whether it's did you do any coaching, introducing your kids to them, all that stuff? Like,
Yeah.
talk to us about sports with your boys.
So, had a conversation with Paula Doherty the other day, and her son Kyle is getting into that age.
Okay.
And the whole thing about travel sports and
Oh boy, it's a heated
It's a hot
topic on the
topic,
show.
yeah.
and you know, I think for me, if your kid is so, my older son Evan, travel sports was not quite to the level yet. So Evan was born in '94. Me and 2 or 3 dads coached. In 2006, the summer that Alex was here, we were in the state championship.
Cool.
And 12U state championship, we finished second
Damn.
to the team in Joplin.
awesome.
About 8 of the kids on our team went on to play high school baseball. Multiple of them were conference all-stars.
Sure.
What do they call them?
All conference.
All conference.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of put this team together, kind of built on it. So that was one of Alex's first experiences with baseball, not knowing what it was.
Sure, I mean-
but going to these deals and cheering for his brother.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun. And then, but part of the deal in Evan's age group, a lot of he had a really good 12U group. And then by the time Alex came around 5 years later, wasn't quite as good. So we did put him in travel baseball. Quite honestly, in hindsight, I wish we wouldn't have. But, I mean, he was pretty good. Alex kind of matured a little bit faster than some of the other kids.
That doesn't surprise me.
I mean, you know, it's just the way kids are, you know, Evan was.
I was thinking like mentally.
No, just from a size. I mean,
Understood. Okay, sorry.
and then Evan was the opposite. Evan like had a huge growth spurt in between his freshman and sophomore year. He was like 5'2" his freshman year, and then like 5'8" his sophomore year.
Yeah.
Dang.
Alex was like 5'6" and then kind of stayed.
So he's taller than you then?
He is, yeah. Also taller than you. So, yeah, so I love coaching the boys. I was certainly harder on them than you always have to be a little bit harder on your son.
I get it.
Both of them played shortstop.
Oh, nice.
Both of them were really good. Evan ended up being a utility guy. I think my two favorite memories of the boys, I think it was Evan's, I don't remember what year it was, but it was 2 outs, runner on third. I taught him how to bunt. So he was a great bunter. Coach gave him the bunt sign. He dropped down the perfect bunt. Winning run scores from third as he's running down first.
Way to go, buddy.
Safe. And then both of them played at Nixa. Nixa always had great teams.
Sure.
I think that was one of my favorite baseball memories. Both boys made it to district.
Cool.
Good teams. Great. Both of them. Well, Evan more than Alex has more friends that he was friends with in high school from baseball. Alex's group was a little bit scattered, I'd say. Kind of went off in different directions. Alex's baseball, there were a lot of football players on there. Alex didn't play football. Alex's freshman year at Nixa got to go. He was a pitcher and could throw pretty good. He got to go with the varsity up to Free State.
Sweet.
Up to Kansas.
As a freshman.
Started a game in a tournament as a freshman.
Dang.
Damn.
Didn't do great. I think he only gave up like 2 runs in 3 innings, but they kept him in the game. Game went to extra innings. He didn't get a walk-off base hit, but got the base hit for his first varsity hit to knock in the go-ahead run, and they ended up winning.
Nice work.
So
That's
both,
so cool.
both boys, I would say, you know, I would hope they have really good memories from sports. Both of them played basketball. Evan played on the Austin Reuter, Jalen Norman freshman team at Nixa.
Okay.
You probably have heard of Jalen and Austin Reuter. They were so good. Both boys didn't play basketball after their freshman year.
Yeah.
They didn't play a whole lot their freshman year, but they made the team.
Yeah,
so
I
that
get
made
that.
me proud. Yeah, it made the parents proud. But yeah, it's just sports is what I mean. We've had the opportunity to go the last couple of years to see the Chiefs, in the AFC Championship game. And
Oh, you got to go to the nice. That's
yeah,
fun.
so once again, it's about making memories.
Right,
Sure.
Right.
I mean, the heartbreak of the year before when the Bengals beat them, and then this year, it was just screaming, yelling, going insane
Yep.
with your family.
That's right.
with the boys. We've been to a World Series game. Yeah, it's just
Cool.
it's so doing life with them is awesome.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you have been able to convert them to your favorite teams, Cardinals, Chiefs,
Absolutely.
all that.
Yeah.
All right.
I was going to say, was there really even an option?
Yeah.
No, there wasn't. No, there wasn't.
I assume that the doghouse in the backyard actually has a Cubs logo on it.
No,
and if you're a fan, you got to sleep out there.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
I don't spend crazy money on anything else other than
Experiences.
experiences. Yeah,
I have such a huge
so
amount
much
of
fun.
appreciation for
Yeah,
that.
so much fun.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm not a huge baseball fan in my day-to-day life, but Cardinals are definitely my team, and it's exclusively because of my dad.
Yeah.
Like we didn't watch like primetime TV as kids. Like,
Yeah.
I remember a couple of instances where we watched Jag and The West Wing in like the
West Wing.
in
Wow.
like the 90s
I
and the
wasn't a Jag
2000s.
fan really.
I remember that.
But most of our evenings were spent watching Cardinal baseball.
Surprisingly enough, I was a West Wing fan.
Yeah, I love that show. It's my favorite. I absolutely love that show. It
Boston Legal. Did you ever watch Boston Legal?
was Dad watched a little bit of that too. Yeah, that was
Great.
out there. But so Dad's game was he would turn on Cardinal baseball on the TV, volume all the way to 0,
Radio.
get the radio turned on so he
Jack
could get
Bug.
Jack
Yeah.
calling the games.
That's me. Well, your dad and I are the same age.
Exactly. No, I know.
Yeah,
Like, you
same
guys
age,
went to
yeah.
school together. So,
Oh,
but
that's
like
cool.
I loved that mentality, and it's kind of funny. You were talking about getting teary eyed. I was watching clips because what the hell else do I have to do with my
Yeah.
time of like baseball from. I think it was the 90s, and it was like Willie McGee and some of those guys,
Right.
and it was hearing Jack call some of those games.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, oh my God! I'm suddenly
so
all of a sudden it's like
exciting.
all of a sudden my Adam's apple's in my throat. It's like, oh, I didn't remember that this was emotional for me, but this is pretty damn cool.
So I'm of the age where I listen via transistor radio.
I don't even know what that is.
I know. I was like, what'd you just say?
I mean, I
Look
know
it
what
up.
it is. I mean, I know what a transistor radio is, but
Look
like,
it up. Yeah, you roll the dial. It's like, ugh.
I
go
gotta
in
get
the
it just right.
backyard?
not
Yeah.
quite there yet.
Not quite there yet. Yeah, that was probably 70s. But growing up, I was a Cincinnati Reds fan. Johnny Bench was my guy.
I
remember you
I
saying
remember.
that
Yeah, I
now.
remember
Johnny
that.
Bench. Yeah. Johnny Bench was my guy. So the Big Red Machine.
Yeah.
But the Cardinals sucked in the mid 70s. Cardinals were
I wasn't even a twinkle in anybody's eye at that
I was
point.
like, nope.
Did you guys do any baseball stuff or anything, or was it all basketball in your house?
basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing baseball till till like junior high or
Okay,
something.
I wasn't
yeah,
sure.
Yeah,
I
so
didn't-
same
I
thing.
didn't know.
I'm
We've
like,
always talked about
I'm like
basketball.
you, like with the Cardinals. Yeah, main reason I'm a Cardinals fan is because
Yeah.
my dad watched. Same thing with Chiefs. I'm a diehard Chiefs fan
Yeah.
now. Thanks to my dad. You
Yeah.
know, and my dad never played football. I mean, he
I
learned about
did,
football
yeah.
by watching the Chiefs.
Sure.
You know, luckily I was fortunate enough to play football, and so I had a little bit better understanding of it. But yeah, same way, man. Just a huge fan, just from what my parents were.
That was fun for me because that football was not my dad's sport. He was a baseball and a basketball guy, and unfortunately, his son has zero hand-eye coordination, and so neither of those
football
sports
had to
worked
be
well
your
for
sport.
him.
Because you didn't wear the glasses. Then.
Yeah, it's hard to play glasses. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding. No, but I didn't play those. So my mother and my dad both kind of got to learn football because that was my sport.
Yeah.
And so it was always fun to my mother, bless her heart, learned what a wide receiver and a cornerback was because that's what I played. And so
Okay.
those were the only
you were a lot
positions.
thinner and faster.
Yes, thinner, not so much slower.
Was she always a mess in the stands anytime you got hit?
God,
I know my mom was.
I
every
came up.
single
There
time.
was one instance where I tackled a guy. It was end around kind of play or a sweep kind of deal, and I ended up tackling the
saw
guy,
it
and I caught
coming.
him, and I hit him over the top. I was playing corner, and I hit him, but kind of he started to go down before I hit him, and so instead of hitting him with my shoulder pads and my chest, I kind of caught him with my arms and went right over the top and went top of my helmet into the ground, and so I was seeing purple sky and
Yep.
yellow grass. And I'm just kind of, like the cartoon Tweety Birds
Right.
going
You
around my
shut
head.
off and stayed in the game.
And you better believe I had stayed in the
Yeah.
football game. But I was standing there going, and my mother, I could hear her from the stands. Oh my God, my baby!
Yep.
Oh my God, what
Yep.
just happened?
Yep.
Was that high school or
It was
just
high school. It was
Oh,
high school.
yeah.
That was high school ball.
That was the thing, man. Playing sports, I could tune everything out
Really?
except my mom's voice. Doesn't matter how big the crowd was, everything except for my mom's voice. Basketball, put your hands up, rebound.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I could pitch because I could throw strikes. I didn't throw hard. My mom was unmerciful on the umpires. It was I would
great.
just
She arguing balls and strikes?
It was so bad. I'd be like, "Mom,
Shut up.
stop." It was. And then I was not good enough to play at Parkview. Parkview
that's
was
funny.
pretty good when I
My
was
dad
there.
coached a lot of our teams,
Yeah.
and I was standing in the batter's box, and because I was not very good, I was always nervous, and so I was standing in the batter's box. I'm like late elementary school, and my hands are shaking, and my dad from the dugout goes, "Relax," at the top of his lungs, thinking that would help. And so you could see me, and I wish there was video of it. Mom still tells the story to this day, where you can see me go,
Clinch up.
and it just got worse. It was just that much worse. So
I was pretty proud of the boys.
That's awesome.
They always they both probably could have played lower college baseball, but that was another thing. It's like, look, it's just a game.
Right.
Yeah.
It's time to what's the word? Time to put foolish things away or something like that.
Sure.
Yeah, and get out there. But
Cool.
yeah, they're the pride and joy.
Awesome.
One thing that I've really enjoyed about becoming a parent, and you can probably relate to this too, is now that I have two boys, they're becoming super tight, really building that bond, and that is just such a neat thing to see as a parent. And you were telling us earlier that your boys, they're super tight as well, but they also bond over something kind of special whenever you go on trips as well too. So what do your boys bond over?
Making fun of me. Two things that they always do. I'm not one of those that looks where I'm walking.
Okay.
So every time I trip,
Specific thing.
All right. Yeah.
every time I trip over a curb, they just
It's their favorite thing.
bust out laughing.
Let you have it. Yeah.
Like I'm in Peter Pants. So then the other thing, and this is a longtime family joke, so it's going to be out there for the four people.
The four people that
the
watch
four
this.
people
Yeah,
that watch
exactly.
this.
Yeah.
So we went to Arizona, and I don't even remember what we were going. Oh, I think it was for my brother-in-law's wedding.
Okay.
So we got in. It was one of those got late flights. We were staying at a timeshare. It's dark. You can't see a thing.
Right.
And so I'm ahead looking for this nondescript. There's no lights on the numbers. So I'm like, all right, that's 117, 118. Where's 121? So it's like I couldn't find it. So they're in the background, heckling me in the background. So I think they're calling me Philip. But they're saying, "Hey fella, can't you find where we're going? Hey fella." And I'm like, I turn to him and I go, "Quit calling me Philip." And so Jana now starts laughing because she's back there with them. So now it's the running joke. Anytime we go on vacation, "Hey Philip, have you found our room yet?"
That's great. Anthony's alter ego, Philip.
Oh, Philip.
Assholes.
Yeah.
Assholes. So when they were little, probably when they were little, I probably called them assholes. But now they're definitely.
Well, you know what? You call them as
Different
they
types.
are, right? Call them as they are.
And it was just, I was, once again, I'm a lot more calm. However many years later, 15 years later, I don't let that get to me. But man, you guys probably haven't had a long day of traveling with kids yet.
He's done one.
I've done one, but about to do another one.
Excruciatingly painful.
Yes.
It can be.
I'm still trying to get my gumption up to do it, so I'm with you.
So it's once again that'll be one of those things that they talk about long after.
Exactly.
Yep.
Old Philip.
Remember
Oh.
Philip? Yeah.
Well, speaking
It was fun.
of funny stuff, we got to end on everybody's favorite segment.
Yeah.
What segment's that?
It's Dad Joke of the Week. And I'm gonna put. Let's see. I think Anthony, I'm gonna let you.
Let me go first.
I'm gonna
'cause
let
I
you
got
go
it in my
first.
head.
Perfect. You go
I got
right
it in my
ahead.
head.
Go right ahead.
I'm not a joke teller.
It's all right.
I got this off the internet. I thought it kind of.
What do you mean? You thought of this all by yourself?
No. I'm not that intelligent. I can't even.
I'm not.
Yeah, I can't even repeat jokes 3 minutes after I heard them.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
I screw them up. So hopefully I get this right. So it kind of goes in line with what we're talking about raising good kids.
Okay.
So, all right, let me think. What does the pampered cow give?
What does the pampered cow
gonna
give?
say
Not a clue.
Pampered chef.
Not a clue.
Oh no.
Spoiled milk.
Yeah. That's good.
We don't want to be raising spoiled kids.
Yeah, no, not at all.
No
like it.
spoiled kids.
I like it.
That's pretty solid. Yeah,
that was
good.
pretty
That's pretty good. I like that one.
For not being a joke guy. That,
Right?
That was good.
DC, what do you
I
got?
can read.
Yeah, I can read. I can
Positives
I can-
all around.
I can read,
I can
man.
Google. Okay. Well, we was talking about traveling earlier. And I mentioned, I think before we was recording, that we go down to Florida every so often. So we do try to like pay attention, like what's going on down there, whatnot. And so the other day we saw that there was a shark attack down in Florida. I don't know if you guys did you see that?
I think I do, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Unless it's
yeah.
part of the joke.
Yeah. It was it was crazy because like they said the shark attack like bit off this guy's whole left side.
Whoa.
Yeah. But on the news, I couldn't believe it because they said the guy was all right.
Oh, boy. That's pretty good. Nice work, buddy.
Pretty good. That's good setup. Good form.
What do you got,
Blue
Brian?
room's next for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You gotta watch out.
Get him up there for an open mic. So I've had a couple of ant jokes, or we have had a couple of ant, as in like the creepy crawlies
Okay.
jokes on the show, and I found another one. I thought you guys would
Oh,
like
here
this
we go.
one. Do you guys know why no ants got COVID?
I do not.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
Sorry.
They've got little antibodies.
That's pretty good.
I love your giggle leading into I gotta hear this.
I thought that was really funny.
That was good. You got one more?
Oh, I do. I mean, I've got two. This one's a little creepier. I might even say,
gosh.
no, I'll give it to you now.
right.
Hey, what's a kidnapper's favorite shoes?
Oh, I think I've heard this one.
It's white Vans.
Why?
I haven't heard that one before.
That's a good one. That's a
I
good one.
love it.
That's
Hey,
good.
you want to wrap it up for us, DC?
Yeah. No, we've had some great, great online presence there. I mean, we were up to well over 1,200 subscribers.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
So please keep doing that. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Again, like always, I mean, we've been getting some awesome comments with dad jokes and dad hacks.
Yep.
So keep.
And we'll use them on the show, and we will try to shout you out too.
That's right. We will. We'll give you credit. We'll steal it, but then we'll give you credit. Yeah. So, but yeah. So please keep doing that. But other than that, that's all I got.
Well, unless anybody else
Thanks
has
for having
anything
me.
else,
This has been fun.
all I got to say is way to go,
Laugh.
decent
Yeah,
dad.
thanks for
nice
hopping
work,
on, Anthony.
decent
A lot
dad.
of fun.
Well done, buddy.
So I guess we'll bring this thing to an end.
Let's do it.
Thanks very much for being here.
Yep.
We'll see you next time.
Squeeze in. Suck it in.
So why did you guys want to do this?